Palantir stock, the ever obsessive Palantir stock. We got to react to an article. I was just reading through just a bit ago. I was just going through Seeking Alpha and reading a bunch of different articles that folks have written about different stocks that I own out there. And I definitely saw this article and I was like, let me react to this on the reaction channel. This one was actually written, it looks like yesterday. Palantir Technologies sell the AI rip. And I thought we would go through the main points this gentleman brings out here, and I'd kind of react to this, kind of give my perspective and opinion on this in kind of, my stance on this whole subject, right? Which, it's funny, man. Palantir is such an obsessive nature around selling this stock. It's fascinating. Like, usually stocks can go on a nice run without so many people saying sell, sell, sell. But in this stock specifically, I've definitely seen a lot of it, right? I've reacted to another article that was negative in the past in regards to Palantir, right? And I definitely have seen a lot of folks on social media, be in a rush to sell the stock, including a gentleman that was incredibly bullish. He had, if I recall, he had his entire stock portfolio of what he had invested. He had it all in Palantir, and he sold it when it was less than $10 a share, less than $10 a share. And, you see some of this and you kind of like, man, like, what is the rush? There's some sort of obsessive rush around trying to cash this stock. And I'm just sitting back as a shareholder of the company and just kind of watching all this play out. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, people can rush around and do what they want. It's just, your call. It's just, I don't know, man. So we'll go through this. I hope you guys enjoy this. As always, I appreciate everybody joining me. Thanks for being subscribed. We're now 20. I don't even know how many subscribers. All I know is it's always an all-time high. So I appreciate y'all being subscribed. Thanks for enjoying the channel. And also, Seeking Alpha, I did a sponsorship with them a couple months ago on the main channel. I'll put the pinned comment down there because they gave me a link back when I did that sponsorship with them. That was for like a free 14-day trial or something like that. So I'll put that as pinned comment in case you want to read through a bunch of other articles, whether it's on Palantir or other stocks out there. You can obviously definitely do that, okay? So Palantir Technologies sell the AI at rip. Palantir Tech has doubled following Q1 2023 results that weren't overly impressive. The software company rallied due to the AI hype surrounding their new artificial intelligence platform. The stock now trades at an elevated 12 times 2024 revenues without any actual expectations for growth to warrant this forward price to sales multiple. Okay. After a solid beat on Q1 2023, Palantir Technologies has soared in what wasn't an overly impressive quarter. The company promoted the new artificial intelligence platform AIP, leading to what appears to be an irrational boost in the stock. My investment thesis is bearish on the stock, especially after the recent double off the lows, okay? First thing up here, this is very important, okay? This is like human psychology stuff, okay? Put the pieces together. Listen to this sentence. My investment thesis is bearish on the stock, especially after the recent double off lows. So this person's bearish on the stock regardless. Let's just call it what it is. It doesn't matter if the stock's 15, 10, 8, 5. It doesn't matter. They're bearish. When you say especially, right, it's like, imagine somebody says, you're having a conversation with, a family member, a friend, and they're talking about somebody else and like, man, I hate them. And especially since they did blah, blah, blah to blah, blah, blah person, right? It means they already hated them. They just hate them even more now that this certain situation happened, okay? And so it's important to understand that from a context standpoint of understanding different agendas that people have. If you already disliked a stock before and then it goes up a bunch, you're going to doubly dislike that stock now, right? And so I think that's just important to be said, and the specific wording there basically spells out what's going on, right? Artificial rally. Palantir has seen the market cap rally to over $32 billion. The company is only now releasing the new AIP platform to select customers. And by the way, Palantir's products have used AI type let's call it ingredients for quite a while now, okay? Let's just be honest about that. The system, in essence, supercharges a private enterprise network with large language models and empowers cutting-edge AI for defense and military organizations. The market has seen a huge pop in sales at NVIDIA and probably has explorated too much into the near-term business opportunities of Palantir. The chip company is selling the GPUs to develop and maintain the LLMs, large language models, utilized by companies like Palantir, implementing the technology into enterprise and government organizations. But this business is still in the early stages of ramping up. On the Q1 2023 earnings call, CEO Alex Karp made several statements like the following that unleashed the enthusiasm of the stock. The issue of how do you have security, a data model, or and knowledge, wisdom that's proprietary interact with an external large language model or with generative AI is not new to Palantir. And that's why we are able to launch our platform AIP so quickly. The demand for of which is nothing I've ever seen in 20 years of being involved within Palantir. The data security company didn't, that's an interesting way to put it, okay? If we want to call them a data security company, I guess we can call them that. Call them whatever you want to call them. Didn't actually report an overly impressive quarter. Palantir beat estimates with revenue growing 18%. But the company only reported a meager EPS of 5 cents, right? So, a lot of problems with this, okay? First off here, Alex Karp saying, it's like nothing he's ever seen in terms of demand in 20 years, which echoes a statement that he made in an interview on, if I recall, it was either Bloomberg or CNBC recently that I reacted to on the channel, which he said something like they're getting as many inbound calls in 1 month as they used to get in a year, right? I think something very important is with Palantir, okay? Everybody that's watching this needs to understand this. When it comes to Palantir, a big company or big government entity doesn't just go to Palantir and say, let me sign up for this right now, okay? It's a process. It usually takes months, okay? Months of a process. There's a lag time between interest in Palantir and when you actually get it. This is not like when you were a kid and you would, ride your bike down to Best Buy to go buy a video game at Best Buy. And you're like, I want to get the newest Madden game. I want to get the newest Grand Theft Auto. Okay, this is not that business. This is a business where you as a government entity or a big corporation is going to talk with Palantir. You're going to consult back and forth for many times months before you sign on the dotted line a big contract. And let's be honest, Palantir's contracts many times are for tens of millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars. We're not talking about small potatoes here. We're talking about big numbers. And so companies have to be sold that how they're going to be able to implement this product is going to be phenomenal. And so there's a lag time there. All this interest in Palantir's products over this last several months is going to be reflected in the numbers in the back half of this year and moving into many years to go in the future. And so that's an important thing to understand. It's not a fast food restaurant that if they have some hot product that everybody drives down the drive-thru right now and they need to get it today, okay? This is a process, folks, a process. There's a lag time there. That's important to understand, okay? And that's something you can find out on Palantir within a few days of research. Literally, you don't need to be researching this company for 6 years to understand that there's a lag time between when a company's interested in using Palantir and when they actually sign a deal. And so that's why sometimes I question some of these articles that are written or videos that are done or things like that, because I'm just like this isn't like super in-depth research, folks. Like this, you can find this out pretty easily in terms of lag times, okay? The company is forecast to just grow sales 16% this year to $2.2 billion. Palantir only guided a 12% growth in Q2. Sales aren't even forecast to top 20% in the following 2 years, with a goal of just reaching $3.2 billion. Analysts have already had a month to update sales estimates since Palantir reported Q1 results, similar to C3 AI. Oh boy, let's throw them in the sentence, okay? The updates aren't overly impressive for stocks soaring on supposed AI enterprise demand, right? Now, have we considered even the potential or possibility that maybe, just maybe, these numbers are substantially off and that Palantir is going to absolutely obliterate the revenue expectations here and that Palantir could come in at a 30% number, maybe much more than a 30% number? Have we considered that? I think these are things you have to consider. You have to consider these things. When you hear Karp saying the things he's saying, right, you have to consider this. And here's another important factor, very important. NVIDIA supposed to grow. Analysts had NVIDIA growing 6% next quarter. NVIDIA is going to grow 60% next quarter, is what they said, right? Do you really have, and you think Palantir's got as good of an analyst community around them as NVIDIA stock does? Come on, man. If anything, if I had to say, I would say NVIDIA analysts are probably a much higher tier analyst community around NVIDIA versus a Palantir. And they missed by a mile, 54 percentage points to be exact. So do you think that can't happen with Palantir? It's something that is definitely a potential. So to say they're only going to grow this number over the next year, over the next quarter is just a monumental mistake. Okay, monumental mistake. The average analyst rating isn't actually overly bullish on Palantir. The price target is just $9.54 in an odd scenario where the market is far more bullish on the stock than analysts predicting. Oh gosh, you're going to tell me analysts could be wrong? That would be a first. They're never wrong, right? Unfortunately, the analysts appear logical on Palantir. The stock soared on the back of AI hype. Though the contracts aren't flowing yet. That goes right back to there's a lag time there. Even with NVIDIA, analysts were at least bullish on the stock as a market. Who cares if they were bullish? They were still expected 6% revenue growth in this next quarter, and the company says we're going to do 60%. So it doesn't matter even if they were bullish or not, they were massively wrong. Like the most wrong I've ever seen. In history, I don't think I've ever seen analysts be that wrong between what they were expecting versus what the company said we're going to do next quarter. I've never seen it that bad. In 15 years of being in the stock market, that's the most dramatic case I've ever seen, okay? So has Wall Street ever understood Palantir stock? No. I think they're going to over this next several years. But the one thing Palantir's got to do, they got to put up the numbers, especially the bottom line numbers. When they start putting up those bottom line numbers, believe me, Wall Street will start to get this story. They'll start to actually spend some more time on it. Instead of just saying it's too confusing, they'll start to do a little more research. Same thing happened with Tesla. People didn't understand Tesla. Then Tesla's bottom line started to come through. Everybody suddenly understood Tesla and EVs and they're the future and everything like that. And the valuation went to $1 trillion market cap. Not saying Palantir is going there, I can tell you that much. But yeah, when Wall Street starts to get the story, you can see some pretty epic moves in a stock price. Okay, Palantir trades at 14 times 2023 revenue targets, while the stock still trades at an aggressive forward price to sales multiple of 12 times 2024 targets of 2.6 billion. Virtually all of the rally last month was due to expansion of price to sales multiple. Once again, who's to say, if you're running a forward price to sales ratio, then you have to assume whatever number you're running off of is accurate. I'm not convinced that number's accurate whatsoever. I think it can be dramatically wrong. When Alex Karp's saying the type of things he's saying, he's either lying or he's telling the truth, and these numbers are going to be massively wrong over this next, I would say 2 years, 3 years. It's one of those two scenarios. There's no in between, folks. Let's be honest. There is no in between. Either Alex Karp's just completely fibbing and just completely just hyping to hype, or there's something substantial here, and you're going to see Palantir put up massive numbers in the back half of 2023 and crazy numbers in 2024. It's one of those two scenarios, folks. There's no in between here, okay? So to just assume that the forward estimates that analysts have is the gospel, I don't know about that, man. That's probably a mistake, right? And also, judging off price to sales ratio is completely irrelevant. Unless you're comparing. This is so important everybody understand this, okay? Because I get so sick of these price to sales metrics being thrown out there. A price to sales metric is irrelevant unless you can compare it versus a similar company in the same exact industry. Unless you're able to do that, there's no point in even pointing out price to sales ratio unless it's in comparison to a very similar stock in the same industry. I can compare Walmart versus Target on a price to sales ratio if I want, because they're similar stocks in a similar industry. Okay? I can compare Google to Meta on a price to sales ratio if I want, because they're very similar companies in a similar industry that make the majority of their money from advertising. To just throw out a price to sales ratio on a Palantir doesn't make sense. Palantir is always going to trade at a very rich price to sales ratio because their gross margins are ridiculous and they're probably going to get better. Okay, so it's just like, that's a very, very important point I just made there. Don't forget that, okay? The key investor takeaway is that Palantir has soared in AI hype. The company is definitely poised to benefit from AI demand in enterprise and military organizations, but the stock is now priced for perfection, and enterprise AI software demand hasn't actually flowed through to the results yet. Investors should celebrate and look to buy the tech titan on a sell-off to a more rational valuation. What? Okay, I'll be honest, I'm a Palantir shareholder. I'm doing pretty well in the stock. I think I'm going to do a lot better over the next few years. I'll be honest. Palantir is no damn tech titan yet, okay? Maybe in a few years, but damn it, you can't call it a tech titan yet, and you can't write a bearish article like that on the stock and then go in and then call it a tech titan. Come on, man. What are we doing here? This is now flipping flapjack and tech titan. Palantir hopes to be a tech titan over the coming years, right? And hopefully by the end of the decade, we can cement itself as a tech titan. But as of today, come on, man. Like, that was just ridiculous a way to end the article. Like, come on, what are we doing here? What the heck are we doing, folks? So, for me, nonetheless, I just continue to be a proud shareholder of the stock and plan to hold this baby all the way through, because at the end of the day, I don't think Karp's lying. That's my belief. I don't think he's lying. I think the interest and demand for the product is incredible. And I think we'll see that in the numbers in the back half of this year and throughout 2024. I could be wrong. Karp could be hyping, just a hype, and there's nothing of substance there, but I think it's real. Based upon NVIDIA's guidance, that's what changed everything for me. Before I was kind of like, we'll see about this AI stuff. When NVIDIA said we're going to grow 60% next quarter when they were supposed to do 6%, there was a moment I was kind of like, I think we should take this stuff maybe just a little more serious. I appreciate everybody joining me as always. Thanks so much, folks. I created you guys a free workshop that's going to be in the description area down there. It's I have one workshop if you make over $100,000 a year, one workshop if you make less than $100,000 a year. Those should help you out immensely in kind of investing tips for this year in 2023 and in future years as well. So definitely check that out. That's going to be in the description area. It's free to access that. I'll send it over. And then once again, if you want to try Seeking Alpha for that, it's a free 14-day trial. Then check out the pinned comment down there. Okay. Appreciate y'all. Much love as always, and have a great day.